have a flashlight or a headlamp. And I want to address the headlamp shortly, but not just yet. So know before you go. You guys know that it's pretty warm out. You didn't need to wear a warm winter coat. You didn't need the weather. You guys knew where we were coming because either your parents told you or maybe you've been here before. And so we're really not doing anything that's going to potentially break the rules here.
I just don't like things falling on.
But yeah, you want to know before you go. Number two has to do with where we hike, or what we hike on and what we camp on. Yes, travel and camp on durable surface. Is this cement pad durable?
Yes.
Is this grass durable?
No.
It is durable. Good question. So a durable surface, or not durable surface I should say, would be if we were to go mock trail and bushwhack through all of this undergrowth. That would not be a durable surface because we don't know if there's any holes in there or divots or animal homes. If anything, we know that the trails are durable. And there's a couple of types of trails we might walk on tonight depending on how far we hike. We'll walk on some gravel. We'll walk on hopefully dry dirt, not mud. I think it's pretty much dried out
That's
for
why
the
I
last
brought
couple
my
days. Yep. Natural paved surface, or even some trails have actual concrete. Camping on durable surface is important for a couple reasons. Why would that be?
You don't want to get in quicksand.
Yes, if you're camping anywhere you're in quicksand, you're probably in a really cool location. But you also have to be very careful.
Yeah, sinkhole. And also to make sure that all the area is safe. Like if there's holes everywhere and animals and bad things can happen.
Yep, uncomfortable is one of the biggest things. I have pitched a tent in the dark and I woke up with my feet above my head and I was very uncomfortable. Okay, so we have leave no trace number 1, 2, 3, 4. Vanessa referred to leave what you find. We're not going to take nature home with us. We're going to look with our eyes. I had someone who used to babysit my children. And she would always tell my children, look with your eyes. Because our tendency is we find something really cool, we want to look at it like this. Plan with it, it's really cool. But the best thing to do is look with our eyes. And remember last week I talked about those rock formations? Who remembers the name of that?
They are.
I don't know if it's on there, but if it is,
It is.
it'd be under 4. Starts with a C. Rhymes with Karen.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Karen. C-A-I-R-N-S. If you find them on a trail, that's a good place to find them because typically they're pointing you in the right direction if you're hiking, backpacking, or doing anything on the trail. If you find them on the water, that's typically a bad thing because people are bored and they're just wanting to create really cool structures and sculptures out of these rocks. And typically, if the rocks are coming out of the water, there's a good chance they might be animals, critters' home. Okay? So that's number 4. Number 5 we already talked about. Number 6 is the last one. We already talked about 7. What's number 6? Yes, respect wildlife. What's one way that we can respect wildlife? Yep, observe from a distance. Binoculars are great. You don't want to run up on a bear that has its cubs. It's the last thing you want to do. It is very dumb, but in the Smokies you see them very regularly. What about a dog? Who has dogs here? I have a dog. If you were to bring your dog out in the woods, what should you have?
A leash. A leash.
Well, when she was young in her heyday, you would want to put her on a leash because you know your dog. You know that your dog is friendly, but other people don't know they're friendly. The other thing is dogs are animals, so they have instincts. My dog is a great dog at home, but when I let her outside, her nose catches a scent of something and she goes into animal instinct mode, where she starts to snort like a pig. It's the funniest thing. She's a poodle, and she's just because she smells something and she wants to go after it. So if you were to bring your dogs out here and let it off its leash, there are people who might be scared of dogs. There might be other dogs who aren't nice to your dog. And there's animals out here that your dog can either hurt or the animal can hurt your dog. Yeah, yep. So that's part of being considerate of others, which is the choice number 7. All right, so you guys all answered the question. Blow pop or Tootsie Roll? So as you guys see before you is 2 different types of backpacks, okay?
Backpack number 1. I can't tell what they are.
They do have names on it.
They're the same.
Right, so do you guys remember what we talked about last week about gear? Anything about gear? Anything you can remember about gear? Bear spray is only necessity where you go. So what are the primary components that you should really be concerned about that you need to start with as a foundation of what you'll take if you go backpacking? Backpack, yes, that's number 1. Some form of shelter. So we have 2. Is there how many more? 1 more, yep. So there should be that's the big 3. So we have the pack or backpack. You have your shelter. Nope. It's important, but it's not your basic. It's not your core. Nope. Nope. You guys are naming really important stuff. You have your shelter. You have your backpack. What's the? Nope. That's important. Bed. Sleeping bag. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to show you this gear, and I only brought the big 3. I didn't bring a water container, even though I have my water bottle. I didn't bring a water filter. I didn't bring a camp stove. I didn't bring any of that stuff, which we'll get into that next week. But remember, these are your maps. If you guys want to look at these tonight, remind me. But we're going to go over backpack. We're going to go over sleep system. And we're going to go over shelter. This is one type of sleeping pad. This is another type of sleeping pad. Do you guys remember that orange foldy one, accordion one I had? That's a foam one. And then I had the little yellow bag. That was my inflatable one. I didn't bring those tonight. But
This one's an inflatable.
this is an inflatable, and this one actually is a foam inflatable. So it has foam inside and it also inflates. If you guys can kind of feel the difference, you can put that, if you want to pass that around, you can feel the difference in weight. Obviously how awkward it feels. So I have 2 different methods for shelters in here, which you each get to hang out with tonight. So let me go and actually, I'll leave this here, and we'll take this over to the other
Which
table.
ones are hammocks and which ones are...
I will show you.
I know.
So these are backpacks, okay? This is called the Kite 46, that's just the model name, and this is the Ace 50. Now the numbers are significant. What do you think they tell you? No. Size, more specific? Capacity. Good job. All right. What is the capacity though?
How much it holds.
That's weight. Capacity is
How big it is and how much it holds.
kind of.
Which would be
Josie?
volume though.
So it's 46 liters
Why do you measure it liters?
because it's the smart way to count things. Us in America, we use standard. So 46 liters, it holds 46 liters worth of your
Americans are
capacity,
lazy.
okay? You can measure, and please correct me if I'm wrong, science teacher, you can measure liters in weight and also volume. Is that correct?
If you know the density of what you're using to pack with.
Right.
I think what bag companies do is they get like beads and they pour beads into them.
And then they weigh it.
Yes, probably.
So typically, all right, I know this is such exciting stuff, and I'll get to the more exciting things here in a minute. This is how many liters? So which one's bigger?
That one.
Which one? This one? By
Yeah,
how many?
The osprey.
By
By
4.
4
Osprey.
liters, yes. They are both ospreys.
Oh, they are?
This is a women's bag.
Yeah. There's the.
This is a men's bag, but you can alternate. So I know some boys like this color. I think this is actually a really cool color, and they really just do it based on color. Okay. This system right here. When you get into certain bags, there's lots of different features I'm not going to really get into, but most backpacks will have a hip belt, and it makes wearing it more comfortable, okay? Some of them have like a gajillion pockets, like this one has a crazy amount of pockets, side pockets, straps, and all this kind of stuff. But the goal of this is to put things in it so you don't have to carry them in your hands, okay? So when it comes to backpacks, it's all about your preference. You like red? You like green? You like gray? Brown?
I like purple.
Any of those. And then it's all about how much weight you want to carry, or the capacity of the potential weight. Just because you have 46 liters doesn't mean you have to fill it. Trust me, my first backpacking trip, I had a 90 liter and I thought I had to fill it.
Oh God.
I was very miserable because it was very heavy. Okay? So you can go ahead and take a look, pass it around. I'll take this one here to Josie. So this is the most important part of the big three because it's what you're going to carry things in. All right? You guys will all have the chance to carry it tonight on the trail with stuff in it. Each one.
This actually fits me.
It's my daughter's. So it's and you can adjust where the straps go. So if you're tall, if you have a longer torso, you can go so it's not super high up or super low.
I have two heads.
I have an osprey and I love it.
I've got two osprey and I got a mountain snake. And then I got this one. This is a day pack. So you're obviously not going to take this backpacking unless you're super ultra light and you don't want to carry a lot of weight and you don't like to be comfortable enough.
I like to be comfortable.
Me too. A lot of people like to.
Oh.
Okay.
Vanessa, I like to.
So let's walk over here and we are going to go over the next component, which we talked about the backpack.
Oh,
What's another one?
Vanessa.
Shelter. Okay. So here are two different types of tents. All right, this is one type of tent. Feel how heavy that is? Vanessa, how about this one? Feel this one? Here you go.
Where's my baby? I dropped Jimmy.
Let's leave Jimmy alone. Here, I'll take that.
Jimmy Jr. Jimmy was the one you were in science class. No, that was Gerald. No, that was.
All right, so your shelter is your next important part because why? Why do you think your shelter is important?
So you can sleep.
Yeah. So why would it be important? More than just sleeping, Josie.
It's a safe place to be.
If weather comes, right? If weather comes, you want to make sure that you have the right type of shelter. Now these are tents, all right? This is one type of shelter you can use. The other type of shelter, yes.
Wow. I've seen a cat stroller. I have a lady who has a cat stroller.
So we will actually have you guys set these up and I'll show you where when we do that.
Careful,
But
Jimmy
this is a two-person tent. This is a two-person, hey girls,
Hey, you guys.
this is a two-person tent and this has poles in it. And this is a one-person tent and also has poles, but the difference is the type of material the poles are made of. So I would prefer to carry this one, super light, super small. And I even have a smaller one that I bought last week. So you can actually carry that over there. We're going to go over the next shelter. Yes, look. Yes, and I bet it's very big and heavy.
Open and closed, and then like have like a screen net.
Those two rooms.
And then they have like on the roof too.
Cool.
Really cool.
All right, so the difference between hammocking and tent, being in a tent, is obvious. One you hang from, well, you can't. In a tent, you are on the ground.
And you have more room.
Yes, and you have more room.
Less.
But the other difference is, well, there's a couple differences here. This is a hammock, and it has the straps inside. And this is a hammock, but the straps are right here, so it doesn't come with straps. What do you think you use the straps for? very easy. Connected to the trees. And so the really cool thing about this, people like to do this because they like to hang from the trees. They think it's more comfortable, which it can be depending on how you hang it. But if you need protection from the rain, what are you going to do? Because these don't have roofs. Yeah, so now this is a very big tarp. This is my very first tarp I ever owned. They make a lot of ones that like roll up into this size, and they're very comfortable, or they're very easy to use, and they're very nice material. So a tent, you have your roof already built in. You have your door, your zipper, everything like this. This, you have no zipper, you have no roof, you have to have an extra roof. If you want to get away from bugs, you have to have a bug net, which I have, but I didn't bring with me. So this can get, if you guys saw how light that one red tent was, you can see the difference when it comes to this. Right here. Actually, we will hang this one. Okay, let's go over here. I'm going to show you guys a bit.
Yes! I did the hammock with the...
Okay, so the thing with hammock is you have to find the right types of trees, the right width of trees, or diameter of trees, and the distance between the trees. The really cool thing about this hammock, first of all, a hammock is very long, but then it comes with some very long straps, okay? I can go into so many details about hammocks, but I don't want to bore you. But what I do want to tell you is there is a proper way to hang a hammock from the standpoint of how comfortable you'll be at night, okay? What you want to do is you want to find your tree, give it a big hug. You can't hug it all the way around. You're going to have to be creative with it. So the really cool thing about this hammock is these straps and the way that it attaches to the hammock. Now this tree you got to be very careful because it has spikes and it is a black wood.
I thought it was hillthorn.
It might be another name.
Hawthorn?
Hawthorn. That's what
No, it's a locust. Hey John, you know why the thorns only go up about 20 feet?
No.
It is a tree that evolved at the same time as the big Pleistocene mammals, and it's purely defensive.
Well, I figured it was that, but I didn't know why it was.
And so now all those mammals are gone that used to eat the trees, but the trees still have thorns.
There's one out in Germantown. It's literally one big ball of thorns.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this, I'll show you the other hammock. This has a cam buckle. Super fast. The other one is too. So what you do is, all you do is thread this through here. There's one side. Just enough strap. Then, so I'm not going to get into the science or the math behind it, but you want your angle to be a certain way, and that way when you get in, you're not like scrunched up like a ball and you get squished like this. But there you go. It wants to sit in there. What's that? You can if you'd like, or you can put some. So turn her face that way. There you go.
Oh god. Oh, Vanessa. Yeah, bye.
This is a double hammock, and so the really cool thing about this is you could put, actually, sew this back on. You could put something in here as a weight and put it over, and then you're completely sealed in. It's really great in the winter time, but it gets very hot in the summertime.
Is it actually made for two people?
Yes.
So it's, I mean, I wouldn't, but
They market it that way, but it's more for, you know, taller people or people who like that space. Lily, yes. I have actually taken a hammock and got bit through the material, so that's why you get a bug net. And you just have to know before you go, leave your trace number 1, to know how bad the bugs are. But typically in the summertime, it's always taking
No, I don't need help getting out.
All right, Vanessa, you're out. Next person in if you want. Olivia, hold your hand. So some people like to be up high, some people like to hang in low, but depending on how old your hammock straps are and how many times you've used it, you get really good at knowing. Where'd she go? There she is.
You should go in like this and just cut yourself in. Some of them will recommend
Hammock. I'm actually going to get back into it. All right, let's get Naya in here.
I feel like I want to be a hammock camper, but I don't think that I ever actually would be.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to it, and you have to figure out your strap hang angle.
Yeah.
And then there's other things like the spreaders that you get, and then you're like increasing your weight. So
Yeah. Like the whole like draw of it is like, oh, I don't have to carry all this extra stuff, and then all of a sudden you're doing all kinds of extra stuff.
I mean, there's some ultra
Under blankets, like.
there's some ultralighters that I'm just like.
He's in a tomb. In the hanging tomb.
All right, Naya, let's get Josie in.
Okay. We're gonna trap Josie in.
What?
Yay! I feel like just put your head over it. Yay! Josie, run over. Quickly.
I don't think she's really wanting to get out of it. You don't have to stay.
There we go.
See how it looked? Like the weight of this just lets it wrap like a cocoon.
I shoved you. I shoved you through the hair.
All right, Josie, let's.
I shoved you through the hair.
You must have been out of the room. You were in the bathroom. All right.
Hold the. For a second, I thought it was going to be. He's going to trap you. I'm scared.
You got this. Just lean back.
Yeah,
You
just
won't
sit
go
down.
anywhere.
There you go.
Oh, this is nice. Oh no, we can't trap the child in. Alright, I'll let you trap me in. Oh my god. Yes, this is me 24/7.
Now,
It's like
if
a
I
big
were to
orange
get in
banana.
There, I would definitely would sink a lot, and it'd be more of a bow than it is. You guys are pretty light.
Banana. It's a banana. It's an orange.
All right. Okay, so that is the hammocks. We're not going to open the tents yet, but we will once we get on the trail. I'm going to show you guys. All right. So that is your hammock.
Thank you,
You got it?
I don't think I can get out.
There you go. There you go. I have seen people faceplant getting out of the hammocks.
I have face planted trying to get out of the hammock.
Over your foot and then hop on.
If you guys want to head back
Not my
over
fault.
to the table, we're going to go over the last part of your sleep system, which we kind of talked about because this is a sleeping pad. So your sleep system is typically, I recommend a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag. Now, just like the backpacks, there's a lot of different kinds of sleeping bags, from shape to color to size and to, what was the last thing you think? Temperature.
For example, I have like a mummy, like I think pretty much. I don't know if it's like the bench long, but it's like the bench
Yeah?
long, and it's literally like a mummy thing, and it has a hood and everything. I don't use the hood.
Yeah.
I get cold in the mornings, and it goes to like 25 degrees.
So, yes, so there's 25 degrees. So there's temperature ratings. And why do you think it's important that you know what degree your sleeping bag is?
So you can stay warm.
Yes, very much common sense, and you guys are very smart. So if I'm going out and I know it's going to be 30 degrees this weekend, which is going to be 30 degrees overnight Friday, and I brought a 55-degree bag, do you think I'm going to be warm enough?
No.
You guys are very smart.
I
Because
know I would.
the rating, the temperature rating, isn't exact science. It's what they suggest to use it in. So if I'm going to go in a 30-degree night, I'm probably going to take a 20-degree or a 0-degree bag to give me that extra temperature, warmth. They also make things called liners, sleeping bag liners, and I have one, and that adds temperature or warmth. So this one is a military bag. It's actually an Air Force sleep system. There comes with another bag and a bivy sack, and if I put it all together, I can be in negative 40 degrees.
Wow.
The coldest I've ever got was 8 degrees, 5 to 8, and I was hot. I was sweating. It was very cold. But anyway, so this is a mummy, and you can tell it's a mummy bag because of why it's wide up top, and then it's very narrow at the bottom, like a mummy you see in,
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yep. And it has a hood, just like Lily was talking about, and you can cinch it down around your head. There's extras that you can add, like a pillow if you want to get a pillow. If you, like I said, there's a sleeping bag liner to help bring weight. So I'm going to pass this around.
You can also put clothes in the bottom of your sleeping bag.
You can also put clothes. This past January when I was backpacking, I boiled some water, I put it in my water bottle, and I put it inside my sleeping bag to keep it, to warm it up before I got in. And actually I got really hot because of that. The other thing you can think about with sleeping bag is the type of fill, the material on the inside. There is down. What's down? You guys know what down filling is?
Plots.
What?
Plots.
I don't know what that is. Geese feathers? Down feathers? Vanessa, you were saying. Yes, so down filling is feathers. Vanessa, you take that off your head for me. Pass that on to Naya. Or you have poly, or basically synthetic filling. And down feathers are going to be more expensive, but it's going to be warmer. But the downside is you can't get it wet, and it won't, because then it won't keep you warm. Yeah, but it keeps you the warmest. So I'll take that. And when you take your sleeping bag, you can do a couple things with putting it in your backpack. You can put it in a stuff sack that it comes with, or some people just put it in a trash bag because that gives weatherproofing. And it also allows you to put things, stuff things around it, so you're not taking up a lot of space inside your backpack. Which brings me, yes, Tracy.
Would you prefer like a stuffed type of sleeping bag, like in a sleeping bag where you just stuff it in, or do you prefer like one where you roll it up and then?
So usually when you buy new things, it comes all perfectly wrapped, and you can never get it back to that, like a map. So stuff sacks are usually the way to go. I've never done the trash bag method where you just throw it in, but as you saw, I just threw this in. The thing is, you want to get a stuff sack that can go ahead and compress it. This is actually, there's a lot of space still in here because it's made for another sleeping bag to go in it. Over here, I'll show you that, but let me show you how to pack this, your backpack. So, with your backpack, the proper way to pack it is you want to put your sleeping bag at the bottom. Why would you want to put that at the bottom?
Because it's the biggest.
It is the biggest, and it's maybe the heaviest. Depends on what you're doing. But typically you want to put it in because you're not going to use it until the nighttime. All right? And especially with bigger sleeping bags, you want to put it at the bottom because of weight distribution and where it's going to fit in your bag. Okay? So I have that. The next thing, can you hand me those hammocks, please? You want to put smaller things, compressed things. Now, I can't give you an actual true representation because I don't have all the extra stuff with me. Now, on the tarp, and you can put this on top. So what would you put on top, you think, if I had it here? Food. Water would typically go in your water bottle on the side or in a reservoir. Was that? Bug spray you can put on your extra, Josie?
Maybe a first aid kit.
First aid kit you could put on the top or in one of your peripheral pockets. Yeah, you'd put food, you'd put things, you'd get your electronics. If you take a GPS or you put your phone or camera, you can put it there.
It's called a visual
So stuff that you're going to access, you're going to put on top. All right. So the last thing I need is that sleeping pad. Thought I made you guys bring flashlights because we're going to need them.
I did. My gizmo could go all the way to like 100% for that, and then I got.
And then depending on what kind of sleeping pad, I have one, that yellow one I showed you last week. It actually will go in my sleeping bag or in my backpack because it's so small. But you have these, most of these packs have these straps at the bottom, at least most Ospreys do. And you can put your pack right here. I need a volunteer. I heard Lily first. All right. You're gonna wear this first. All right. So get this.
It's not that heavy. And when you're walking from
Okay.
It's not that
So go ahead and put the clamp the straps.
I can't do
So you're gonna have to adjust it.
Vanessa.
All right, Vanessa, thank you. You just right on cue. The use of flashlights and headlamps tonight need to be used to not shine in people's faces, and they need to point down. So I think Vanessa has one you can adjust. That's how I want to see all headlamps tonight if you have one. Now this is really high. Well, go on. So this, so this is adjustable.
Fall over.
A lot of this stuff you do before you put it on. But there you go.
Not
You can
fall
clamp it.
over.
Well, the other thing too is I have the, and then there's these straps right here.
Oh, these bugs.
Go ahead and pull them. So lean forward.
Yeah, she's got a lot of space in the back.
Yeah, I won't be able to adjust it perfectly just because it's in there. So lean forward like me, and then pull it down like you're gonna Superman it out. Supergirl it out. Stand up for me.
Super child.
All right, so that's probably as good as we're gonna get it tonight. So you're gonna wear that for a little bit. All right, come back over here
Cool.
with me.
I'd like to carry one. I'll barely weigh anything. I'll carry.
All right. So remember the size of that sleeping bag? You guys remember that? This is a 55-degree bag. So it's very small. It compresses down very small, so there's not very much material. Literally has no stuffing on the insides of the material. It's just material. Okay? You can see how small it gets. People can actually get their very cold weather, very warm, cold weather sleeping bags down to this size if it's down. Yes, Joseph?
Are there are some made for really cold weather? Are there some made for really warm weather?
Yeah, like this.
Or you just
I
don't
would-
wear one.
I would just probably not wear, or would probably not use a sleeping bag. Or maybe just use it to cover a toe.
But sometimes too, there are places where it's really hot during the day,
Yeah, very
and then at night the temperature just drops, and so you have to, like John was talking about earlier, you have to check the night temperatures
Who
to
wants
see
to
how
pack
low it's
this?
gonna get.
I do.
Go ahead, Olivia. I would put the sleeping bag in first. Just put it in the bottom corner. And then take this.
Oh my god, Vanessa. You have a little mossy friend. She got attracted by my light.
Oh,
Look
Hello,
how
my
cute he is.
You're out early, my friend.
look at his little tiny eyes.
Look at
All right,
his
you guys
eyes.
ready? If you have your headlamps, you can turn them on.
Oh, it's creepy.
We're gonna
look
make
at
sure
his
we're
eyes.
our
What is
headlamps
that?
and flashlights down.
No, it's a little
Ladies,
If anyone is feeling unsafe or doesn't like hiking at night, please tell me. But I will admit, I used to be, as an adult, scared of the dark. It took me hiking and camping and backpacking on my own, by myself, to get over that fear. And it's okay, because you can't see. If you can't see, you don't know what's out there. Alright, Lily, go ahead and unclamp that.
I'll take it for you.
Okay, turn still.
Oh, that's heavier than.
So that bag's gonna be
lighter.
pretty big on you.
No, this is actually lighter than my school backpack.
I don't doubt it.
No, my backpack's like
Alright,
slightly
so-
heavier.
Before you, that's the last one you do, so I'm disconnect that one. So the first one you do is your hip belt. So what you want to do is you want to lean forward. Then you want to pull down on.
that's the worst part.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like what you're thinking. Pull down back towards you, like behind you. Little nail that I think someone has put here so they can come out here and hike at night. Okay, so if you were to aim it somewhat down, your light down, not directly on it, it'll reflect a little bit and you can see it from a distance. So when it's darker out, you can probably see this like it's glowing. And I've never noticed it before in the daylight because it doesn't reflect in the daylight. So I think that is Girls, go ahead and line up. Miss Chrissy, she's going to take a picture of you.
Ooh.
For a night shot. best to hang them from. So that hammock that Lily has, you can have trees that are very far away from each other.
So like this
Now
giant.
the one that Vanessa has, you need to have them closer.
So like if we had this giant tree right here, and then this small tree right there, we could do it like that.
You could, but you got to think about the diameter of that tree and how much of your strap is going to use up first. So Vanessa, this tree right here, and this tree. Yep.
It wants to help me with the double hammock.
So someone help. Hold on, Vanessa. You want to do your straps first. So your straps are right there. So I didn't show you guys earlier.
I think I know how to do this. Like I don't have.
And what we're not going to put up tonight is the tarp. If I knew that tonight was going to be a really calm night and I wanted to see the stars, I would actually not use a tarp because I like to see that. So one of the most important things with any campsite you pick out, but especially with hammocking, girls, this is very important. This is actually life and death stuff, and I'm not exaggerating. If we look up, we can see these trees right here that we're attached to, this one, and this one. And we see that we don't really have anything above us that looks like it might fall, okay?
Those two trees.
Yeah, these trees right here, this big oak right here, and then this oak right here might have some stuff. But typically, when you pick out a campsite and you want to pick out especially trees for your hammock, you want to look up to make sure there's nothing that potentially could fall. Because while it is rare, it does happen where trees, branches that have been knocked out or are dead might fall down, okay? So I'm not saying it to scare you, but I am saying it to make you think about it. Anytime you that doesn't even, just because you're in a tent doesn't mean you're protected from a tree falling or a branch falling. So that's why you have to choose your campsite typically very wisely. Does that make sense? So do you guys notice the difference in size of the hammocks?
Oh my god.
You guys notice the difference in the color?
Put your foot in.
You can customize it, you can pick whatever you want.
Let me see. No. But that's the one person.
So the one rule that we're not going to use tonight, but the one rule that I have with my hammocks, I tell my kids, is if you're going to be in them, you need to have your shoes off. But because of the nature of what we're doing tonight, I'm not going to make you take your shoes off.
Well, I took them out.
Because no, I know. I'm just saying that for rules, because A, you want to make sure that where you're sleeping is clean. B, you want to take care of your stuff, and typically if you have your shoes in there, you have a potential of ripping the material. All right, let's go ahead and take these down. We got to get back on the trail.
Okay.
Big tree up
You
here.
can switch out the back if you want.
Does anyone want my backpack?
Ooh.
Okay. One of the buckle pieces. Why is one of them black and the other?
I think it's just to let you know which side's which, but
I think the gray piece is a whistle.
yeah, so it's attached to the whistle, so you can see your whistle.
Put that down.
You can use that for bears. You can use that to if you fall and get injured and you can't get anywhere.
Okay, little tiny bug.
I saw a black and yellow ladybug tonight.
I saw a shiny bug.
That's a yellow ladybug.
Wait, is that for you?
Nope.
Wow.
I can see you guys, but barely.
So the clouds, unfortunately, are out. You guys see the houses all the way across over there? That's the country club. And then this is some housing over
I
here.
can see perfectly fine.
You can still see the sun, even though the sun's set. You can still see
So
remnants
I
of
can
the
see
light.
your black glasses with your brown.
So if we were to sit here for about 10 more minutes, our eyes would start to adjust, and we'd be able to see a lot more.
That's what happens when it's pitch black dark inside my house. I was just sleeping on a bench.
Yeah. Any questions before we're done for the evening?
Go look over by the river.
That is up to your parents.
That's a parent thing.
That is a parent thing. Josie,
Dad,
yes.
can we go look at opinion on like hiking sticks?
Hey guys, hold on real quick. Hey Vanessa, hold on.
What is
Josie has
your
a question.
opinion on like hiking sticks? Because sometimes like I'll take sticks from like in nature and then use them sort of as trek
Yeah,
poles and then put
it's
them back.
so hiking sticks versus hiking poles or trek poles is all preference. Typically you'll see people who are doing long distance hike, they'll use trek poles because you can get them super light, make them carbon fiber, super light. But once again, it's all preference. You'll see long distance hikers that have have hiking sticks, and it's all. My mom, she lived in Germany when she was in the army, and she had a really cool old school hiking stick that they use in the Alps and all that kind of stuff, and had a metal tip on it. It was really neat, and I used to use it as a spear and chase my brother around. But yeah, it's all preference, and there's a lot of cool different things out there. So, any other questions about gear tonight?
I was gonna call it that.
Okay, so next week we're going to be here again, and it's going to be lighter because the time changes this weekend. But we are going to need you to bring your headlamps because just because we're out here 30 minutes later, it's still going to be somewhat dark at the very end. And we're going to talk about food, meal, camp food and everything. I will probably bring one pack for us to open up, cook, and eat and share. Like I do have MREs. I'll bring some actual camp food.
What are we gonna do for the fourth?
The fourth week we're going to all put it all together, and we're actually going to do something that you would need if you had to get water clean. I'm going to teach you guys how to purify water.
Yeah, we all did it in the 5th grade. We all went to the same elementary school, and we all go to the same school. Yeah, but
we'll do it out of the river here, and I'll show you
we didn't use
good spots to do it.
We used rocks.
Different ways to do it.
We used cotton balls.
Cool.
We used coffee filters.
That stuff's not natural.
You guys, so I will go ahead and take the packs from you. Next week I'd like to do more hiking than we did tonight. Unfortunately, I talked way too much at the beginning, so we only hiked a half a mile. So next week I'd like to hike at least a mile, if not more. And we'll probably hike out to the meadow, make some food, and then talk, and then hike back, which will give us about 2.5 miles.
Yay!
So.